but some people will argue with you and say, well, this is the National Assembly. For the first time we're getting to see them always having some issues with the executive arm. Remember that the last time is close to September, and they did say, well, concerning budget implementation, he just might get the impeachment notice if they're not satisfied with it. And you say they seem to be dancing in consonance with the music played by the executive.
They will say impeachment has been called upon, but Nigeria's impeachment is different from American impeachment. In America, when they say they're going to impeach you, you're sure going to go through the loop. But in Nigeria, we've seen Obasanjo being harassed with impeachment by the same National Assemblies, but then what happens? He just calls their bluff and nothing happens.
Let's dwell around.
So they don't even know what they're talking about when they say impeachment. They're just buying time and want to cross over some hurdles. Right. But before you know it, they're all back together again, PDP thing, and PDP is the problem.
Now let's dwell around reforms for just a little bit. The Arewa group has been around for a while, and one of the things you put together to do is to facilitate reforms in that region. What are the things that you're doing to help put reforms in place in that region?
When you say reform, in what sense?
I mean, the whole insurgents in the north.
You see, now as a woman, you don't enter your kitchen and start facing the walls and thinking that you can get things done. There's got to be the gadgets. Now,
so as Arewa,
we have. I understand you.
Okay.
Now you have the federal government crying out that it's calling people on board to come in and assist. Don't forget the Arewa, particularly my own Arewa Youth Consultative Forum, has played a very major role in the presence of Jonathan in that Aso Rock. We represented the North. This same Arewa Youth Consultative Forum ended up representing the Northern Bloc politically to endorse Jonathan, or else Jonathan wouldn't have been there. I can tell that to anybody. And what happened? Because we went along with the Niger Deltans and all the other organizations that are progressive. The Arewa Youth is the only body that went along with them, right from Pronaco to date. But what is it now? Do we get calls from the federal level to see where we can chip in?
Are you saying you're not getting the kind of attention?
Nobody gives you the attention, because so far as they're concerned, somebody around them feels you're not going to let them do what they want to do.
Is this affecting your productivity in any way?
It's not, because no matter what you do, we are saying the truth. We are trying to do the best we can sincerely, so we always have our hands full. Because even as it is now, sometimes I walk the streets of Lagos when I come, seeing things by myself, ending up brokering peace between this Okada man or that, unexpectedly, because I just hate to see, because you never know where the bomb will be triggered. And then it ends up where you never expected. But if you walk the streets, you know how horrible Nigeria is.
What other kind of challenges do you face while you go about your activities and trying to forge national unity amongst brethren, Christian, Muslims?
Danger of being lynched, not being able to come back home alive is an everyday challenge. Because you never know who is going to hit you. You never know who says he doesn't like to see your face. Federal government is expected to say, these organizations are my best friends who can help me go and touch some places. They don't. When you don't make use of what is around you, federal government cannot tell you that they don't know we exist.
Well, have you set your agenda? Because, if you go about trying to enforce the law, trying to carry out your activities and you're afraid of being lynched, then that means you are not technically inclined with curbing the whole insurgents. Because sometimes you don't have to go out yourself to do this. I don't know what your agenda is in helping with the whole insurgents.
Do I have an agenda? I told you there is no agenda. We just do the best we can.
And the way it is, they talk about unity. You remember that talk, that is a task that everyone should do. You think we're still on that particular path?
Of course, that is the one thing that has to be done, whether we like it or not. Because I wouldn't like to bequeath a broken nation to my children. And I don't have anybody who is going to tell me that it's a better place for me than Nigeria. Nigeria is my home, is my country. If you go to the United States, or if you are born in the United States as a Nigerian, you are still a Nigerian. United States cannot be sweeter or better unless you're just dreaming, fooling yourself.
Do you get a sense that, because what Nigerians want topmost is that the authorities listen to them and do, of course, what they also want. Do you get a sense that those at the top understand and listen to what those down there are saying?
They understand, but they are decidedly, they have decidedly made up their mind. They are not going to make use of what these people.
You think it's deliberate, or
deliberate.
They are being misadvised?
It's deliberate. Mr. Jonathan cannot make that step forward because what he inherited is in the hands of some people who are mightier than him. Even with his presidential mandate, they are mightier than him. The power behind the throne is what he has to contend with.
But there's hope. If there isn't hope, you won't be going out there encouraging people.
As long as you have life, there's got to be hope. But I don't know if it is Jonathan who is going to rekindle that hope. To put it on the back.
Well, I'd like to ask one more question, Chamberlain. You know, I'm very particular about the Arewa group. If you control the youth in that region, then you control the power of that region. What do you expect from the federal government to help you perform very well?
You know, we cannot get crushed into Asorok and Mr. President. We cannot get crushed. We cannot force him. He has to appreciate that something out there is readily available for him to take advantage of. So the little we are doing is what we can do.